If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs hope today. Once upon a time, in the restless and magnificent city of Lagos, where the Atlantic breeze carries both salt and ambition, there stood an empire so vast that its shadow touched every corner of industry. At the center of that empire stood one-man chief Raymond Akafo. People called him the Lion of Lagos. His company, Raymond Group Holdings, controlled oil contracts, luxury estates, shipping routes, technology hubs, and investments that stretched beyond Nigeria's borders. His name opened doors that others could not even knock on. In meetings, men twice his size lowered their voices. In politics, his silence spoke louder than speeches. But power has a quiet side. Behind the gates of his golden mansion, past the fountains and imported marble, Chief Raymond often sat alone in a dimly lit study. The walls were lined with awards, photographs, and framed newspaper headlines celebrating decades of success. Yet the only frame he truly stared at was a family portrait. Grace, his devoted wife, smiling with calm strength. David, his only son, standing tall in a graduation gown in London. That photo had not changed in years, but life had. Chief Raymond's health had been declining slowly, like a candle losing wax unnoticed. Medications multiplied on his bedside table. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the Lagos skyline, he whispered to Grace, "I built towers, but I forgot how fast time falls." Grace held his hand tightly. "You gave your family everything." Across the ocean, David Okafo was carving his own identity in London. He worked long hours, networked with investors, attended conferences, and built a startup under his own name. He would tell himself, every message from his father felt like both love and pressure. So he postponed his return again and again until the night the phone rang. Grace's voice trembled through the line. "David, it's time." Something inside him broke. He returned to Lagos under a sky heavy with rain clouds. The airport was filled with cameras and reporters eager to capture the heir's return. But David walked past them silently. At the hospital, he saw a version of his father he had never imagined, frail, pale, breathing through oxygen tubes. "Dad," flickered there. "My son," he said faintly, "you came home?" Tears fell freely from David's eyes. He knelt beside the bed, guilt wrapping around his heart like chains. "Forgive me," he murmured. Raymond smiled weakly. His voice was barely audible. An empire without compassion is a ticking clock. Remember the people. Respect those who build with you, because love can either steady a man or destroy him. Those words lingered in the air. The next morning, with Grace and David holding his hands, Chief Raymond Okafo breathed his last. The city mourned loudly, but grief inside the mansion was silent and heavy. The funeral procession stretched for miles. Politicians, CEOs, religious leaders, and international investors paid their respects. Speeches described him as a titan, a pioneer, a legend. Yet as soil covered his coffin, David felt something more personal than legacy. He felt responsibility. At the reading of the will, it was officially declared that Grace and David would inherit full control of Raymond Group Holdings. The boardroom shifted uneasily. Some executives smiled in support. Others calculated weakness. "He is too emotional," one director whispered privately. "This is business, not charity." On his first day as CEO, David stood before the towering headquarters of Raymond Group Holdings. He felt the weight of history pressing against his chest, but instead of walking straight to the executive floor, he greeted the staff. He shook hands with cleaners. He asked security guards about their families. He thanked drivers personally. Within hours, word spread. He is humble. In the boardroom, he spoke calmly but firmly. "We will continue to grow," he said, "but not at the cost of integrity." Every employee deserves respect. Every contract must reflect fairness. Some executives nodded. Others frowned. Change threatens those comfortable with old systems. Meanwhile, outside the corporate world, destiny quietly prepared another lesson. One afternoon, after visiting a community school his father once funded, David's driver took a detour through a bustling market street. The smell of fried akara drifted into the car. "Stop here," David said suddenly. There, beside a modest roadside stand, stood a young woman named Ada. She worked beside her mother, her hands moving skillfully as she fried golden akara balls. In hot oil. A hungry child approached her shyly. Without hesitation, Ada handed him food and smiled. David watched carefully. There was no camera. No applause. Just kindness. He stepped out of the car. "How much?" he asked. "For you?" "Same price as everyone," she replied playfully. He smiled. It felt refreshing. No flattery. No fear. No recognition. He returned again the next day in simple clothing. This time, she recognized him, but treated him no differently. "So, big man, you like street food?" she teased. "Sometimes big men need small peace," he answered. They began talking regularly. About life. About struggle. About dreams that didn't require luxury, only dignity. Ada spoke about waking up at 4 a.m. to prepare ingredients, about caring for her aging mother, about refusing to cut corners even when business was slow. David admired her resilience. With her, he felt grounded. He walked through markets without security. He laughed freely. He listened more than he spoke. And slowly, affection grew. But love in the presence of power never goes unnoticed. At a high-profile charity gala, David attended reluctantly with grace. There he met Minister Ellen Adams and her daughter, Tricia Adams. Tricia was glamorous, confident, and ambitious. She saw headlines before she saw humanity. She positioned herself beside David in every photograph. Posted captions hinting at romance. Public speculation exploded. The future power couple. Corporate royalty meets political dynasty. Grace sensed the strategy immediately, but David felt uncomfortable. Soon, Tricia's jealousy intensified when she saw him walking through a local market with Ada. "How can he choose a street vendor over me?" She snapped. To Tricia, love was a transaction. To Ada, love was authenticity. Pressure mounted from investors and political allies. A merger proposal tied to Minister Ellen's network required a personal alliance. If you marry Tricia, the deal becomes easier. An executive hinted. David stood at a crossroads. Business security. Or personal truth. One evening, he visited his father's grave alone. The air was calm. The city lights shimmered in the distance. "I don't know what to do," he whispered. In the silence, he remembered his father's final words, "Choose wisely." The next board meeting brought unexpected tension. A senior executive proposed aggressive layoffs to increase short-term profits. "It will boost shareholder confidence," he argued. David looked around the room. "And destroy families," he replied. The room fell silent. For the first time, he understood the true cost of leadership. He rejected the proposal and introduced alternative cost-saving measures that protected jobs, including executive pay cuts and innovation incentives that encouraged long-term growth instead of short-term gain. Some investors threatened to withdraw. Stock prices dipped temporarily. Headlines questioned his decisions, but something remarkable happened. Employee loyalty deepened. Productivity improved. Communities supported the brand. Raymond Group Holdings began earning not just profit but respect. Meanwhile, Tricia escalated her efforts, spreading rumors about Ada's background, questioning her intentions. Ada, hurt but dignified, stepped back to protect David from scandal. "Your world is too complicated," she told him softly. I don't want to be the reason you lose everything. David took her hands gently. You are not the problem. You are the clarity. For the first time, he understood what his father meant. Legacy is not inherited. It is chosen. And so, in a BOLD press conference that shocked Lagos, David publicly clarified that his personal life was not a political arrangement. He announced new community development programs funded by Raymond Group Holdings, independent of any political alliance, including scholarships, healthcare outreach, and small business grants for market women like Ada. The message was clear. He would not trade love for leverage. He would not trade integrity for influence. The decision cost him certain contracts, but it gained him something far more powerful: authentic trust. As months passed, the company stabilized stronger than before. New partnerships formed based on transparency. Employees stood behind him, not out of fear, but loyalty. Grace watched her son with pride. You have become more than your father's heir, she said one evening. You have become his legacy. And, under the glowing Lagos skyline, David finally understood the difference between empire and inheritance. Empire is built with ambition. Legacy is built with character. Empire shines under lights. Legacy shines in darkness. And somewhere between boardrooms and roadside stands, between politics and humility, between grief and growth, a young man had transformed wealth into wisdom. Because in the end, money may build towers that touch the sky, but only love, courage, and integrity build foundations that never collapse. And this was not merely the story of Chief Raymond's empire. It was the story of how his son chose compassion over convenience, purpose over pressure, and truth over temporary gain. And how true legacy is written not in gold, but in the hearts of people. Moral of the story: legacy is built with love and integrity, not money. Comment below. What would you do if you inherited not just wealth but responsibility? Subscribe now to learn how stories of courage, humility, and love shape real leaders.